Hi guys, welcome to another edition of the Objective Football Banter Show. I'm your host Tweezy, and today we'll be looking at games that played out obviously across Europe's top 5 leagues. Starting with the Premiership, of course, Arsenal dreams, Premiership title contending dreams are now finally well and truly over. It was a long ride. They spent 247 days plus on the top of the table. Manchester City spent about 14 days. But then again, when it comes to, doing the job, Manchester City have proven time and time again that they are the undisputed, team when it comes to doing that. 11 games on the trot in the Premier League, winning it straight. The latest coming away to Everton in a 3-0 winner. Erling Haaland again among the goals as well. It's going to be very tough, from here on out for Arsenal, obviously, because there's no way it's mathematically possible. Obviously, it's still mathematically possible for Arsenal to win the league in our dreams.
Are you playing?
Considering that Chelsea are obviously going to spread, their ass cheeks when they go to the Etihad next week.
That one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
I wouldn't be counting too much on it. Sorry, Chelsea fans, that's just what it is. I know that, you guys really want to, can't wait for the season to end. Yeah, and I think that, you'll be doing a good job, for Manchester City by just lying down and rolling over at the Etihad next week.
Emotional, damn it!
Everybody expects it anyway. Manchester City have actually been very good. They've won 11 games on the trot. That's hard. In the Premier League, it's a difficult thing to do. You need to have a presence of mind. You need to be in constant form. And so, Guardiola and his team deserve a lot of praise. Obviously, the over £1 billion spent aside, in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, but, they still deserve praise. They played good football. They bought some of the best players. Nobody should trust Guardiola again. Nobody, especially if I'm Arteta, Arsenal. Somebody woke up and sold, his striker to you. You should have checked that there was something wrong somewhere. Guardiola doesn't just, randomly sell players. If he sells a player to you, there is somebody coming to replace that person that, might just be freakish, might be out of this world. I remember when Aguero got that attack issue and, he couldn't play for Man City again. It was before he left that he had the heart issues at Barcelona, obviously. But I remember when he was about to leave, Guardiola was crying on TV, we cannot replace him. And then less than 3 months later, this guy went to sign an extraterrestrial from Norway who has now scored 53 goals in all competitions.
What?
It's just crazy. The same thing happened with Chelsea. Manchester City sold Sterling to Chelsea, and Chelsea suddenly thought, we've gotten one of the big players from Manchester City. It's all a setup. Guardiola doesn't sell players, stupidly. Ferran Torres went to Barcelona and he's struggling to nail down his starting spot. Jadon Sancho was let go for free to Dortmund, and now he's thinking of replacing Manchester United. So I think Guardiola deserves credit for his talent identification. I think he does well identifying talent, and I think they've done quite well this season, and they are beginning to dominate the league now. It's now becoming quite predictable. 5 wins in 6 years. Who can compete against that? We'll see how that plays out next season, though. Arsenal on their own end can, give themselves good credit. They've done quite well. No one, including Arsenal fans, expected them to be contending for the title. Everybody expected that after coming 8th back-to-back twice and coming 5th, you'd expect that, they'll just try to just hustle for the top 4, which was obviously the objective this season, get the top 4 slot. And, they got it, and they didn't just get it. They did it convincingly. I think, teams like Manchester United, Chelsea are over 20-25 points behind Arsenal, and that was a really impressive thing to do, considering that the squad is very young, the manager is also very young, relatively compared, to his peers in the business. Arsenal, can be proud of what they've achieved. Runners up, even though they've not won any title, but no one expected them to win any title, and everybody expected Man City to win the league. So we're not seeing anything out of the ordinary. So the idea that Arsenal bottled, the league, it sounds a bit far-fetched, because you cannot say that you bottled the league that you were not expected to win anyways, so I think they can be commended for coming this far. I think next season they will look stronger. There is a belief that they will struggle next year because this is their last chance to win the league and they blew it. And I think that's just that's wide off the mark. That's not a very good assessment, because last season when they didn't qualify for the Champions League by missing out, I think about 2 or 3 points to Tottenham, a lot of people felt this was it. This was their chance to get Champions League back and be among the big time, and they've lost it, they bottled it, and it's not possible that they can get it again. Well, the following season they've now become runners up. So it should be careful, to say stuff like that. I would really struggle to bet, against Arsenal, next season. They look like they are going to be the real deal. The next gen of really great footballers coming out of world football look like they are stacked in that football club. People really need to be wary. Real Madrid, Barcelona have the superstars, obviously, Bayern Munich as well. But people should watch out for Arsenal. Manchester City, of course, everybody now financially doped there with all their superstars. But people should watch out for Arsenal next season. I think Arsenal will be a much more difficult side to play next season if reports are to be believed that they are planning to buy as many as 4 or 5 players, star players to bolster their squad. I mean, just need to look at what 2 players like Zinchenko and Jesus, contributed to the Arsenal squad and made them to be this strong. So imagine what happens when Arteta signs players of those same caliber, similar caliber, 4 or 5 of those players, and it's going to really be difficult next season.
It's payback time.
Liverpool have been doing quite well. Liverpool have been really impressive. They won 6 games on the trot. Ever since they had that 2-2 draw at home to Arsenal, they've now won 6 games on the trot. Manchester United need to be careful. Even though Manchester United have a game in hand, Liverpool are just now a point behind. So Manchester United need to be really, really careful as to how they approach the final 2 or 3 games. It's going to really be a bumpy ride for teams between the 4th and the 6th spots. A lot of things are going to probably happen down to the wire. The way the whole thing is set up, it looks like down to the wire on the final day of the season. Newcastle United look like they are also in the running for the UEFA Champions League spot. They remember they are in 3rd position, but I think they are just a point above Manchester United as well, a point or 2, and it's still dicey for them. Should any of those teams, Newcastle United or Manchester United, don't find their rhythm and Liverpool win their remaining games, one of them will have to drop for Liverpool, I'm afraid. As it is going, Manchester United or Newcastle mustn't blink. They blink, they are going to drop points and Liverpool are going to take advantage. Remember, Liverpool has a superior goal advantage to Manchester United, and Manchester United cannot afford to drop any extra points. They've been really struggling without Lisandro Martinez. After Varane has returned, and they got a 2-0 win against Wolverhampton over the weekend, and they were quite good value for money. Yeah, Chelsea still couldn't beat bottom team Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest look like they're also resurgent. They managed to get a win midweek, and now they scraped on another 2-2 draw at Chelsea. A lot of questions have been asked. What's Lampard really doing at Chelsea? And I think the players, the management, everybody just waiting for the season to end so they can recalibrate and really start to plan towards next season. It does baffle me how they look towards planning next season, though, considering that their final 2 games of the season are against Manchester City, who need a win against them next weekend to qualify to win the Premier League, obviously, and then the final game against Manchester United, who also need a win or at least a draw to be able to keep their place in the top 4 slots. I think Chelsea still have 2 more games of misery to go. It's been a really miserable time this season. They've lost a lot of games, they've lost a lot of confidence. The fans have not been happy, understandably, and a lot of reinforcements need to come next season, especially in the striking department. It will be interesting to see how, obviously, they will react to losing to Manchester City, of course, because, let's face it, Manchester City are going to demolish them.
Sensational.
That's just the way it is. Manchester City are going to destroy them. You can take that to the bank.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
And Manchester United obviously will need to win because Newcastle are also, gunning for that 3rd spot. They don't want to let it go. And there is the case of Liverpool behind. So Manchester United look like they will also take the Chelsea game quite seriously. So Chelsea are in for a really bumpy ride in the next 2 weeks. Tottenham, obviously, what else to say? Tottenham being Tottenham, they've managed to, from starting, I think the press was saying that their start in this season in the Premier League was their best ever start in the Premier League ever.
They play! Just they play!
They look like title contenders. They were going to be running things.
What?
People should be scared. It was scary hours for everybody. Well, now Tottenham look like they might not even get to qualify for the Europa League if they are not careful, considering that Brighton still have 2 games in hand and they also look good value for money. Remember Brighton going to the Emirates to spank Arsenal by 3-0.
I will send you to Jesus.
3 unreplied goals. Arsenal look really deflated. They couldn't play through the press of Brighton, and then a few unlucky errors also, happened to them, give advantage to Brighton. I was very curious to see the way De Zerbi was celebrating each goal. I mean, ran length of the pitch, sometimes ran into the pitch to, kneel down, and slide and celebrate. Knowing Mikel Arteta very well, I'm very sure he's going to do that at the Amex next season. Brighton will do well not to lose a game against Arsenal at the Amex next season, because I know Mikel Arteta is petty like that. He's going to run across the length of the Amex pitch and slide and celebrate with his players. In the Spanish league, Real Madrid finally relinquished their hold on the title as defending champions to Barcelona, who have now won the league for the first time in 4 years. Yes, it's been 4 years that Barcelona touched the La Liga title, and they've done it. They won the league with still a few games left to play. 4 years down the line, last time winning it being when Lionel Messi was with them, obviously in the club, and they are now, officially Spanish champions. Real Madrid congratulating them on Twitter as well. Barcelona look like, they are beginning to come back, at least on the pitch. They look like they are doing quite well. Off the pitch, though, things really still look in disarray. Even the finances still look funny. There is talk about bringing Lionel Messi back, although the financial cost, the financial implication of that, I don't think Barcelona understand that yet. I think for that to actually happen, they might need to sell off a lot of players, 3 or 4, 5 players. There is rumor that Rafinha might be going as well. Remember, he recently signed for them last summer after refusing to join Chelsea and Arsenal. And now he's looking like, he's being shown the way out again. There are a lot of players at Barcelona who look surplus to requirements. Same thing at Real Madrid with Ferland Mendy on the left, looking like he's about to lose his spot on the left-hand side, which is very funny because the guy who's playing on the left-hand side for Real Madrid, Eduardo Camavinga, is naturally a central midfielder. He has been quite impressive both in central midfield and on the left side of defense, and Ferland Mendy now looks surplus to requirements. Barcelona would actually, look formidable if they get their squad planning right for next season. Real Madrid look like they've relinquished the interest in the La Liga this season, obviously, by losing it. But they won the Spanish Cup, which is something to still celebrate. They won the Spanish Cup. They are in the semi-finals of the Champions League against Man City, and we expect them to compete fully. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. In Italy, Napoli, obviously, champions-elect, celebrating every weekend. Look like going to be a long summer of partying in the city of Naples, and we'd like to see how Inter Milan and AC Milan get some consolation with the Champions League semi-final second leg. Remember, Inter Milan running out 2 winners in the first leg, and it's going to be really hard to see how AC Milan comes back into that tie. But Inter Milan look like they have 1 leg in the final really already, and should that happen, Inter Milan at least will be able to look back to some pride. 10 to 11 years back from when they last came to the final with Jose Mourinho. They are now going to be in final if results go their way this week.
Nice.
In Germany, the German league, the Bundesliga, it was exciting. Bayern Munich winning games, Borussia Dortmund winning as well. Still 2 points between those two. Nothing to separate them with about 3 or 4 games left. Bayern Munich really need to turn on the afterburners now, as we always know them to do. But Dortmund look quite serious, which is impressive because they are doing it without Erling Haaland. Imagine when Erling Haaland was with them, he had the same numbers, scored a lot of goals, but they couldn't compete for the title. So interesting to see them competing for the title even without Erling Haaland. A little of that though can be put to Bayern's situation off the pitch with the manager choice and all that. They struggled with tying down a manager after Nagelsmann left, and they just didn't trust Nagelsmann enough. Lost a couple of games here and there and allowed Borussia Dortmund into contention. Even at some point, Union Berlin was, contending for the title, but here we are. So that's been it for me, in the Objective Football Banter show this week. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe our page so you can help us grow. A lot of comments are also appreciated. We appreciate the comments that have been dropped. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Love.